welcome back. This video includes 5 wonderful and easy lunchbox ideas that will make your coworkers and fellow students very jealous. But they're great for general meal prep as well, so if you're like me working from home, then these recipes should still be super useful. They're all generally inspired by the concept of Japanese bento boxes, and more specifically this creator Imamu. Shout out to her. Also, before we get started, I have a bit of a surprise for you today. I created this really cool, easy to use meal planner template. It's a free Notion template that you can customize to your liking, and it's to help you organize your week in terms of food. But yes, more on that later. For now, let's get into the lunchboxes. Alright, so we're starting this off with these lovely, simple, and incredibly satisfying savory pancakes with peanut dipping sauce. I'm absolutely obsessed with these. They're definitely inspired by Korean cabbage pancakes, but instead of adding only raw vegetables, I'm going to be using caramelized onions. So first, I'm cutting the onions into rings. I'm using 2 big onions and then also the white part of some spring onion. And I'm just letting everything cook over medium heat in some vegetable oil for about 15 minutes. In the meantime, inside a large mixing bowl, I'm mixing together water, white wine vinegar, unsweetened applesauce, and a vegetable broth cube. You could also substitute the water for vegetable broth and get the same effect. I'm separately mixing together the flour, the baking powder, and the salt. And I'm also adding some of this umami mushroom seasoning here, but use any spices that you want in this. And then I'm mixing everything up. And then adding the cooked caramelized onions. Plus a bag of ready-made coleslaw mix, which is just some shredded cabbage and carrots. And last but not least, the green part of the spring onion from earlier. And that is it. That would be your batter. Cook them over medium to medium-high heat for about 3 minutes per side. I made them a bit more thick, but you could also try and flatten them. I could imagine them being really, really nice if they're really thin. For the peanut sauce, I'm mixing together creamy natural peanut butter, soy sauce, sriracha, sweet chili sauce, and some vinegar. And then I'm pouring in a bit of hot water to adjust the consistency until I'm happy with it. Would recommend to pack the sauce separately, but what you could also do, especially if you don't have a lot of Tupperware, just spread the pancakes with the peanut sauce and then create little sandwiches. To the lunchbox, I'm also adding some lettuce, some smoked tofu sticks, which can easily be also dipped into the peanut sauce, some cherry tomatoes, and there you go. This was genuinely so delicious. I know we're nearing the end of tomato season, but around the time of filming this, I was still able to get a bunch of lovely cherry tomatoes from a farmer's market for really cheap. And so I decided to make this lazy, few ingredient tomato tart. But you could also substitute many other vegetables. Chopping the tomatoes. In the meantime, my oven is preheating to 180 degrees Celsius. Also got some parchment paper here, although I probably could have used the paper that comes with the puff pastry. Yes, we have some puff pastry here that I'm spreading with plain hummus, making sure to omit the edges. And then I'm also adding some red vegan pesto, mixing all that up, and finishing everything off with a layer of the fresh tomatoes. I'm going for this Green Goddess seasoning blend. This video is not sponsored by Trader Joe's, by the way. I'm just really excited about my new spices. Bake this for about 30 minutes. As delicious as this tart is, it doesn't necessarily make for a super filling lunch, so I would also recommend to have a more filling side And I'm going with these delicious spinach and lemon beans here. First, I'm mincing some garlic and letting it saute in some olive oil on medium-low for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then I'm adding a can of drained white beans. I'm also throwing in some baby spinach and finally adding the lemon juice. Make sure to season this well with salt and pepper. If you're feeling fancy, you could also add some lemon zest here. But there you go, this is lunchbox number 2. I also included some fancy yellow zucchini ribbons here. And I know the pieces don't quite fit, but as I've mentioned in the beginning, I'm not taking the box anywhere. It's really just traveling from my kitchen counter to the fridge, back to the counter. I wanted to take a quick break and introduce you to the free meal planner template I was teasing in the beginning. To use the template, first create a free Notion account, then simply click the link down below that's taking you to the template, hit duplicate in the top right corner, and make sure full width is selected. Then feel free to type in your name here to make it yours. All right, so let me show you how this is set up. Okay, so first on the left-hand side, we've got the digital pantry. Pretty self-explanatory, but this is basically a place where you can keep track of your ingredients. This is really good for using up what you have and creating your shopping list. Okay, let's plan a potential week together. We've got week 1 here. I'm just gonna type out Monday, and then I'm gonna pick some recipes. Let's say vegan cottage cheese. I'm gonna click that. And then I'm also going to make the veggie pancakes. And then perhaps for dinner we could make some vegan chili. Tuesday, there's still going to be cottage cheese and pancakes left over. And so honestly, probably all I'm gonna make on Tuesday is gonna be some overnight oats. I personally would just use this for, okay, which recipes am I going to be cooking this week, rather than tracking everything I'm eating. But feel free to use it whichever way you want. Okay, Wednesday, I wanna make miso soup, and I also want to make cherry smoothie. A very hydrated day. Once you've got your whole week and you wanted to start with a new one, you go back to the filter and you toggle week 2. And then on to my favorite part, which is the recipe database. This is so insanely helpful. I have my recipes like written out kind of everywhere. Like I have Notion pages, I have some in my notes app, I've got random screenshots. But this could be a really great place to organize and keep track of just recipe inspiration that you see online, which is kind of the reason I wanted to make this meal planner in the first place. Let's say you saw this recipe for vegan Rice Krispie treats. Let's say you saw that on TikTok. You're just gonna copy paste the TikTok link. And then if you wanted to, you could go in and copy paste all the ingredients into the ingredients tab. And then if you wanted to go a step further, you could write down the individual recipe steps. If I was in a hurry, I would honestly just create the page, drop the recipe link, and keep that as is. What you could also do is include some tags. And so I'm gonna create the tag dessert. And then there's also some more specific tags such as like comfort, treat. I'm gonna put that there as well. It's kind of like an ongoing blog cookbook that you can create for yourself. And again, this is super customizable, so this is just a suggestion, but I genuinely really like the way this turned out. I'm very excited about this next recipe. This is a vegan take on a classic Korean dish. How to pronounce
Jjajangmyeon.
These are black bean noodles. They're so yummy, so insanely savory, despite being vegan, and just incredibly comforting. First, grab some dried shiitake mushrooms, cover them with hot water, and let them sit for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, cut up the smoked tofu, potato, zucchini, and onion. You're gonna pan fry the onion and the tofu first for about 5 minutes over medium heat, and then add the potato and zucchini, Give everything another 5-6 minutes until everything gets some color. Then I'm chopping up the soaked shiitake mushrooms. Do not throw away the mushroom water. We're going to be using that in a second as well. So yeah, the chopped mushrooms go into the pan, followed by some black bean paste, which I of course got from the Asian supermarket. I also found some vegan oyster sauce there, so I decided to add it here as well. Next, I'm adding the mushroom broth, some extra water, bringing this up to a quick boil, and then letting everything simmer for about 10 minutes or until the potatoes are cooked. While the potatoes and vegetables were cooking, I got busy with my lunchbox side dish, Logan from TikTok inspired cucumber salad. So to a big jar, I'm adding a bit over half a cucumber, chili crisp oil, soy sauce, olive oil, white wine vinegar, and agave syrup. And there you go. To thicken up the sauce, I'm mixing together cornstarch and water. And then it's on to seasoning the sauce. The final component would be some noodles. I'm going with udon. This is what the meal would look like if you didn't pack it up. But I will be transferring this to my lunchbox together with some spinach and the cucumber salad, of course. Like, it doesn't taste vegan at all, if that makes any sense. And that might be due to like the oyster sauce as well. Shiitake mushrooms give you so much umami, smoked tofu. I really like it. I've made tens, if not hundreds, of crunchy tofu recipes in my life, but this one has to be in the top 5 to 10, maybe even top 3. Anyway, first I'm tearing some firm plain tofu into chunks, and then I'm covering those with cornstarch and salt, mixing that up well. I'm bringing a large non-stick skillet with some vegetable oil to medium heat, and then I'm letting the tofu cook and fry for about 8 minutes. I've also got some sushi rice cooking here, and then for the sauce, I'm mixing together ketchup, the vegan oyster sauce, vinegar, and soy sauce. Once the tofu has reached maximum stage of crispiness, you add the sauce. But just mix in the sauce briefly and then take this off the heat. I've also got some broccoli steaming here, and I also cut up some daikon, just for some freshness. And then it's on to building my performative lunchbox. It looks really pretty though. You can of course swap the grain for anything else that you feel like fits. Like, I don't know, quinoa. So nice. Last but not least, this week I also made a really simple roasted pepper chickpea wrap the night before. I'm blending up 2 roasted peppers, peanut butter, olive oil, soy sauce, and oat milk. And then I'm mixing the sauce with some chickpeas. And I'm heating up this mixture for about 3 to 5 minutes to reduce some of the liquid here. And then I'm building my wrap. I'm using a large whole wheat tortilla that I'm spreading with a generous amount of plain hummus, then adding leftover rice, leftover steamed broccoli, a good amount of the chickpeas, of course, also some bagel seasoning. Then I'm rolling up the wrap and then wrapping it in some parchment paper tightly. Whenever you're serving this, I would definitely recommend to toast it before eating. So maybe you could do this early morning if you have 5 minutes, or maybe you have access to a stovetop. or like a panini press where you have your lunch break. You could also pack up some hot sauce, maybe some fruit on the side. I feel like I did not do a good job of building a cute bento box here, so I apologize for that. I did instead make a lovely Biscoff vanilla iced latte. And that is it for all the recipes. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up, that would be amazing. And let me know in the comments if you end up using the meal planner. Thank you to Notion for the support as well. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!